We're very happy. We got a good workout there. I mean, the guys really pushed themselves there, and every one of them, every guys that came on, they all ran themselves to a standstill, and that's all we looked for today. I mean, we worked really hard against the breeze, and we were hassling them all over the place. And I mean, you have to play Kerry that way. I think they looked a bit rusty now, to be honest. But they're just back from holiday, so it's understandable. So I suppose it was a good opportunity for us to really test ourselves with a lot of young guys, and very happy with it.
A great win then for Dublin, and it just might ease the pain of that championship hammering last year. Well, along the sideline today, Kerry were managed by Ger O'Keefe and Eamon Fitzmaurice because sadly Jack O'Connor's dad, Michael O'Connor, passed away. And all of us here in RT Sport would like to pass on our deepest sympathies to Jack and all the O'Connors. Now joining me are Colm O'Rourke and Kevin McStay. Colm, that was a great game of football, but in terms of the marketing of the new league campaign, it's kind of come in without anybody really noticing, hasn't it?
Well, I suppose we had last year, we had such a high-profile game with Tyrone and Dublin and Croke Park and the fireworks and everything for 125 years. It really shouldn't be any different just because the GAA is another year older. Again, they should try and have some high-profile game and a bit more marketing. I think today's game between Kerry and Dublin was a great game and it was great atmosphere, particularly the last 15 minutes. But imagine if you had that on a Friday or a Saturday night in Kerry and try and promote it as a weekend trip. Like half the hotels in Kerry must be empty. Sure, surely Fáilte Ireland or some of the bodies should be trying to bring as many people to these games and make them into weekend affairs and spread out games over a whole weekend to increase the numbers attending.
Absolutely. Kevin, were you impressed with Dublin? We all know they've done very well in Leinster, but they haven't won a National League campaign title since 1993. Should they be concentrating on the league?
Well, they should, because the more games they can get into what essentially for me is a new Dublin team. I didn't expect them to play so well against Kerry today, and as Pat Gilroy said, they got a great workout, got a lot of football into their legs and introduced a lot of new players. I think 5 guys survived the championship from last year. So yes, they should get more and more games and concentrate. Dublin need a good league run. There is a fair degree of correlation between a good league run and a good championship finish.
It's been proven over the last couple of years.
Cork and Kerry were the Division 1 and 2 champions last year, and they played in the All-Ireland final. And there is that connection. And yeah, absolutely, they should be going for it.
Colm, you were very impressed, obviously, with Dublin, but one player who's very much in the headlines at the moment, Eamon Fennell.
Yeah, well, Eamon Fennell dominated midfield, and you know, he's a player who's under a certain amount of pressure. He wants to change club and he hasn't got a transfer. It's running for 3 years, but today he went out and he played from the start. Right at the throw-in, he gets the ball, and you know, he dominated the game from the very beginning. Gives a pass off to Blaine Kelly and runs on, takes the return, shows great athleticism. Now, Kerry players were a bit slack in letting him run through so easy. But, you know, it was the start of a very good day for him, kicking a point from play there. And the second half, again, Dublin under a bit of pressure, looked to him, and again, straight through the middle, and takes an easy point. Dublin had the wind in the second half, so it was an easy tap over the bar for him. But overall, you know, he's a player of the future. They need somebody to replace Kieran Whelan. He would look like the man. And for Kerry to be beaten at home, they don't like it, even though they were missing a lot of their players. And Paul Galvin was in great form today. But, you know, Dublin need the psychological boost of beating Kerry. Like, they haven't beaten them for whatever, 1,000 years or whatever in league and championship. And sometimes players, you know, after they win something big, they can trace back sort of their mental rehabilitation to some game like that, where they went to Killarney and were able to beat a Kerry team, and they'd say to themselves, well, you know, maybe this is the way forward, especially as the fact that it looks like Pat Gilroy last year went with the old team, and this year it appears as if he's going to go with a new group.
But it's almost unrecognisable, some of the Dublin players today. There's Macaulay, there's Flynn, there's McMenamin. These are all players that you were really impressed with today.
Yeah, well, as I said, I think Pat Gilroy has decided, you know, that the old order is broken and he must go with a new group. Now, Michael Macaulay was centre forward today and he had a great game. And for this goal, he does brilliantly to set up Paul Flynn. Paul Flynn sticks it away well. He played with DCU in the Sigerson on Wednesday. Now, you can see from that, Macaulay just doesn't knock the ball down. He puts it down specially into Flynn's hands. Again, a great catch under pressure, and Aidan O'Mahony fouls him. Aidan O'Mahony was doing a lot of fouling today. And just at the death, when Kerry had a chance to equalise, he intercepts a bad pass from Seamus Scanlon and puts it over the bar. Another young player too, Kevin McMenamin, playing a corner forward. And, you know, Blaine Kelly puts across a great ball to him. I was impressed with him in the Aborn Cup, and Kevin McMenamin, a great point there very quick feet under pressure. And again, a lot of the younger Dublin players combining. Blaine Kelly again out in front of Tommy Griffin at full back, holds off the ball, gives it to Macaulay, very unselfish again. McManaman a great point from play. So I think we saw a new Dublin team. Keane O'Sullivan in the back, the Kilmacud fellas, the two O'Carrolls are coming in there, Philip McMahon, Paul Flynn. I think this is the shape of the Dublin team for the championship, whereas Kerry's team today, I'd say, will bear no resemblance to the team that plays in May or June.